You know why you're here. Let's talk Ravens with Yolanda. Let's go.
A healthy balance at every position. If they brought in Derrick Henry, because the Ravens aren't serious. Eric DeCosta's make or break season, off season.
Good evening, Ravens flock. How are we doing tonight on this Monday evening? I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I'm just wanting to come on tonight and just talk about how wonderful and excited, how wonderful the weekend was with the Ravens. We got a chance to actually hear from the players, and I'm excited, right? I'm looking forward to this upcoming season, and I know we have a ways to go, so I'm trying to kind of slow down, relax. But hearing from the players, and after they have now gone through a true rookie minicamp, and they've experienced what is going to be pretty similar or sort of similar to the speed of the NFL game, especially as they make that transition from college to pro, it's something to be excited about. So, Flock, I know, myself included, I know I've been not the happiest with some of the draft picks, but at this point, we have who we have, and we are going to have to make the best of it. And let's rally behind our players and hope they have an amazing season. So with that, I'll just go ahead and say hello. I see we have Holy Bro in the chat. Good evening to you. I hope you are doing well. And if I don't display your comment, it's because I'm still learning this system. So I want to make sure that I don't accidentally delete someone or block someone because of my error. But I'll try my best to make sure I display some of the comments as we go through tonight's show. But anyway, Holy Bro, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. As I mentioned before, and as the thumbnail tells you, this is an exciting time for Ravens fans. This is an exciting time for us to watch our team develop right before our eyes, to watch our team take shape, see kind of who we have in various vying, positions and roles, and kind of give us a little forward glance of what we can expect in the future. We did have pressers over the weekend, and that's what we'll talk through tonight. There were several players, rookies, who came on camera, and they were asked a lot of questions about how they felt minicamp went, and just kind of what are their overall thoughts of now being truly NFL players and being in the league. The first player that we have that I want to share is Nate Wiggins. He happens to be what I think a lot of us, or a lot of Ravens fans, are looking to as probably one of the best picks that EDC made this draft. And again, I've told you before, so I'm not going to rehash my thoughts on picking Nate Wiggins. Has nothing to do with his skill set, has nothing to do with him as a player. I just would have preferred a different pick in the first round because we had glaring needs on offense. But as I mentioned earlier, we have who we have. We have to make the most of it. Let's do just that. So Nate Wiggins, he was asked several questions, and I couldn't understand those questions that they were asking, but I did hear his response. And he said, basically coming out of college into the NFL, the tempo is much faster. And now he is learning, right, the rules, which are vastly different from college to the NFL. He's very handsy, he's very grabby, and he's like, no, I can't do that. I can't do what I used to be able to do when I was in college because, hey, that'll get me penalties. And I'm thinking, no, sir, We cannot have penalties. No, no. So he said that's something that he's working on and something that he wants to improve. A good sign, he said, he's been corresponding via text with Roquan Smith, and so he's excited. I think he's one that is going to make a big jump, and he said for him the biggest jump is making sure that he's learning the scheme, but also making sure he's practicing and not grabbing and being so handsy, because again, in the NFL, that equals penalties. We don't want that. We don't want that, Nate. So keep working on that. Funny thing that he said was he was asked about Tez Walker. And he said, Tez Walker's a good player. But wait a minute, I'm a good player too. So we both have to bring our A game. I sat up a little straighter in my chair. I said, okay, this young man is coming here with confidence. He knows the assignment, and we'll see if he lives up to it. Now, what I'm watching for over the off season for specifically for this particular player, Nate Wiggins, I'm looking for, obviously, I think we all are, for him to put on some weight. He definitely needs to gain some size. And he has he has incredible speed. He has good hands. He could even potentially be a lockdown corner. When we have people, when we're playing like Hollywood Brown, I think he could be a lockdown corner against a Hollywood Brown. Now, wait, now against a DK Metcalf, no, sir, I don't think so. But I do think that he could certainly be put in that, in that role of a lockdown corner. I see Jose is here. Hi, Jose. Good evening. How are you? And also, Holy Bro said, Nate has the tools. I agree. Nate, he does. I think he has a good, skill set. Ooh, there go the comments. I did it right. Okay, hopefully nobody gets banned tonight or by my by my mistake. But anyway, thanks for joining, Jose. Yeah, Nate definitely has the tools. He has the skill set, and it's just a matter of him developing as a player. And also remember, these guys are very young. They're early 20s for the most part, and they have a lot of room to grow. It's just making sure that we have the correct coaching staff, the correct personnel who can develop these players, maximize their potential. But that's a later video. The next person the next two players, we didn't hear from them in the presser, but these are two that I'm watching them. I'm waiting to hear from them. I'm waiting to hear what the coaches have to say about them because I have my eye on them. And my eyes on them. Yeah, I have two eyes. So heck, right now I got four with these glasses, but I'm keeping a careful watch on Rosengarten. I would think that Rosengarten for me has to be my favorite pick this draft. The reason I say that is when I look at being successful in the NFL, to me, a win starts in the trenches. We have to build that wall around Lamar. We have to make sure that our offensive line is solid. And that's the only offensive lineman that we drafted. So although he didn't speak in the presser, I still am watching him. I want to see how he develops. A couple of things that Harbaugh said this weekend about Rosengarten. He said that he is a great athlete. He said he moves his feet very well. And he said he's quick and versatile. Those are good indicators to me early on that this might be a really good fit, a really good blocker for Lamar. It's early, and I know I probably should have titled this the way too early, how I feel about these rookies, but we'll see as the weeks and months go by. But I am certainly watching out for him because, he's the only O lineman we took, and we know that Lamar needs that protection. He does. So we also have the Hawk TV. Good evening to you. Thank you for coming. We have B. James in the building. Good evening to you. I hope everyone is doing well. Hawk TV said, prayerfully, Nate becomes a player like players before him. I think that's an excellent point. I think when you come into a culture, when you come into a culture that is rooted in successful, outstanding, elite defensive players, the mindset has to be, I need to play like a Raven. I need to maximize my potential to live up to what the ones who came before me did. And not just live up to it, but to exceed it. This is a brand new day. These young men have a clean slate, a blank piece of paper. They are now beginning to write their story in the pages of NFL history. So it's going to be a joy to watch them. So yes, you're absolutely right. Hopefully, Nate can develop into that amazing corner that we believe he can be. Another player who was not, and see, I was supposed to press the button here when we were talking about Rosengarten, and I didn't. But the next player is, he did not speak, but it's Adisa Isaac. The reason I put him on this list is because twofold. I know that he had an injury in 2021 while he was in college, and it sidelined him the entire season. Fast forward to 2022, he came back from that injury, and I believe that was an Achilles injury. 2022, he had 11 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. He built upon that the next year in 2023 and had 16 tackles for loss and 7.5 sacks. So I included Adisa Isaac in this conversation. Although we didn't hear from him, I'm watching him. I want to see, do we have any lingering remnants from this injury? Again, I know it was in 2021, that's 3 years ago. But you never know how a body responds when you are changing and shifting from college play to now NFL play. As we've talked about, and as we all know, the speed of the game, the rigors of the NFL game are so much more intense. So this is one player that I'm keeping my eye on this offseason. I want to make sure that he stays healthy and that he adjusts and his body adjusts to the rigors, as I mentioned, of the NFL. So he's one to watch as well. And the last, not the last, one before the last, Tez Walker. I know a lot of Ravens fans are really hyped about Tez. I'm going to slowly get there. I'm not there just yet. He has been noted as perhaps, or he's been pegged as being that missing piece for the Ravens offense. He's been touted as being that big body wide receiver who can, go up and get those contested catches, who can track the deep ball. What we seemingly have been missing as an organization, he is supposed to be, or is said to be, that missing link. I have a few question marks, but before I say that, let me mention what I've heard about him. So he did give a presser, and he was asked, how do you feel about your first rookie minicamp? And he said he feels good. It was a good experience for him. He needed it. And his biggest takeaway was that he needs to pay attention to detail. That caught my attention. Then he said, seeing his jersey for the first time, and he told his grandmother since he was 4 years old that he wanted to be an NFL player. And he was overcome with emotion to the point of tears, but he said he kind of held those tears back. But it was a touching story to hear how this young man from the age of 4 years old put in the work, put in the time, the dedication, the sacrifice, the blood, the sweat, the tears, and now he's here. So I'm watching Tez. I want to see how he performs, because if he is that missing link, if he is that last little puzzle piece that just makes us a more well-rounded offense, that's great. That's wonderful. That's a bonus. That's a plus for us. That means we're taking the right steps in the right direction in terms of our ability to score in games, and especially in the games where it matters most. So a couple of things that I noted about him is he was asked about teams who passed on him. And he said, as he started to slide down the board, on draft night, he was concerned. And he didn't know if the Ravens were going to take him. And he said that he's going to use that as motivation, as fuel for him to become all that he knows he can be in this league. So that stuck with me. So I'm excited for him. Things that he needs to work on, from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, he needs to work on vertical threats. He said he wants to work on his vertical routes and being that vertical threat in crossovers. I read somewhere, I don't remember who said it, but it was Tez Walker is a developmental player. Tez Walker is almost a project player. Like, he's got the potential, he's got the tools. We just need to see him put it all together. That's what I'm looking for Tez Walker. Are you able to put it all together? I'm going to stop here and look through some comments because I see we have people in the chat who are commenting, and I want to make sure I recognize everyone. The Hawk TV said, I think the Ravens will have a nasty offensive line this year. I hope you're right. I do. And, you know, he's thinking that the majority of the young guys with impeccable measurables, I think so. I hope so. That's my hope. That's absolutely my hope, that we build that wall around Lamar Jackson. And Brandon says he has a question. If we win the Super Bowl and have the 32nd pick, will you trade it? Let me put your comment back up. And they offered the receiver to you, Seattle, Oakland, Vikings. I'm not sure I understand the question. I think there's more. You get to pick one team, one receiver you wish, any receiver that I take. If your question is what receiver would I get from any team, my first thought would be Justin Jefferson. My second thought, that when I talk about wide receivers, I think you need a little bit of everything, Brandon. You need a speedster who is a vertical threat. I think you need a one who is excellent at route running. That's Bateman's skill. He's a phenomenal route running. As I mentioned in a previous stream, it's not that he's not, I don't think he's a great player. I do. I think Bateman is a good player. I just don't think the connection between he and Lamar have been there. So if you pair Bateman's route running and then you bring in a speedster, you bring in someone with amazing hands who does not drop doesn't drop the balls. Or I hope that sounded right. Probably didn't, but that's okay. Pause. Isn't that what you say? So when you have someone who is proven in their ability to catch the ball and not drop the ball, there we go. That sounds better. I think you have now started to put together a championship winning offense. You pair Lamar Jackson with his remarkable talent with a versatile wide receiver core, not just one player and then another player who's I was on social media the other day, and it had the list of all of the wide receivers that we've had in this organization since Lamar has been drafted. And as I read through the names, I just shook my head. I said, oh boy. I mean, it went back to Willie Snead. It went back to Sammy Watkins. And and I'm thinking, oh wow. It's one of those things where I don't think the Ravens have done enough for Lamar, but I'm going to put a pin in that. And I want to see what we do the remainder of this offseason, and I want to see how these rookies develop, namely Tez Walker. We also have with us tonight Professor Smith. Thank you for coming. Thank you. He said, well said. Yes, amen. That's right. We have Big Reg in the house. Please make sure you go over to Big Reg's channel. He puts out amazing content where he doesn't just talk about the Baltimore Ravens. He talks about our Orlando Magic too. And ooh, there's a tear that's just starting to form as I say it. But whew, we were so close, Reg. We were so close last night. But we didn't make it. We did not. But he talks about life And this is someone's content who, if you go over there, you're going to get a well-rounded balance of a lot of different topics, just things that make you think, things that you can relate to. It's very relatable. So please make sure you check out his channel. We also have Jay the Six. How are you? He has a channel of his own, and I can't wait till he comes back and produces some more content, because Jay the Six is all about sneakers. I learned so much when I watched Jay the Six, but he's also a Panthers fan. Excellent mind in terms of football knowledge, just really good channel. So make sure you go check those channels out. And we also have Brandon Bozell. Here we have. Does anyone else need Yolanda and Bronny to start doing voiceovers? Oh, thank you. It's very kind, very sweet. Yeah, I'll get with Brodney and see if he wants to do that. Brandon Bozell also has a channel of his own. This is Mr. Chef Extraordinaire. He can tell you, he can serve it up and dish it out. Whatever you have a palate for, he's got you covered. So make sure you please head on over and subscribe to his channel too. Aaron Butler, thank you for joining. Baltimore Ravens all day, every day. Yes, I was in a chat earlier today. I'm going to take 2.5. I was in a chat earlier today in a live stream, and I watch content all through the NFL. It doesn't matter who the podcaster or the YouTuber is. I want to hear how other teams perceive us, because these are, for me, I'm keeping receipts, okay? I want to know who is out there saying, "Oh, the Ravens are terrible. You don't have a quarterback. You don't do this. You don't." I want to keep all these receipts, so I'm watching. So I was in a stream earlier today, and someone asked the question, "Who do you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl this year?" And you know me, my Ravens, exclamation point. And somebody in the chat said, "How are you guys going to get to the Super Bowl? You don't have a quarterback." Another person said, "How are you guys going to make it to the Super Bowl and you don't have an offensive line?" And I just said, okay, I want these people to stay tuned. I want them to stay tuned, because we're going to show them something this year. Brandon says he is dropping 3 food reviews tomorrow. You see that? I didn't even know it. Make sure you go over there now and subscribe to Brandon's channel. You don't want to miss his food reviews. And Brandon, I have a special request for you to do a plant-based vegan food review. It doesn't matter, your choice, wherever you go, a meal that is plant-based, and I'd like to hear your honest thoughts about the meal. Because, I want to know what you think about having a meat-free, dairy-free dinner or lunch, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you, Hawk TV. He just subscribed to Big Reg's channel. See, that's what I mean. You guys are the best. You all show so much love and so much support. It really does mean a lot. So a heartfelt thank you. We have Nana. Good evening to you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And she says hello and good evening to everyone in the flock as well. The last person, I'm going to resume where I pick up where I left off. The last player who we heard from over the weekend was TJ Tampa, and cornerback from Iowa State. His first impression was that being in the NFL, and specifically being a member of the Baltimore Ravens, was an incredible dream. I just love hearing those stories because it's inspiring. I like to know. I don't want to just see a player on the field. I like to know about them. Is that just me? Does anybody else like to know the stories of the player, how you got here, what fuels you, what drives you, what motivates you? I like to know about the players who I'm cheering for, I'm paying my hard-earned money for, to go to these games to watch them. So I just like to know a little bit. But he said, no matter how I got here, I'm here. That was in response to a question about him sliding down the draft board, him not going as high in the draft as he would have liked. And his response was superior. He said, it doesn't matter how I got here. The only thing that matters is that I am here. And so when he said that, I said, yes, that's right. Don't worry about the fact that you might have thought, I should have been drafted at this number, or I should have been draft number this, or I should have gone in this round. He said, forget all of that. I'm here. I know what my assignment is, and I'm ready to contribute. He said he's going to use that as extra motivation. He's going to use that to work harder, because he hears what people say about him. Just like we read, these players read too. They have ears, they have eyes. They see what people are saying. And so he said, I'm going to use that. Okay? I'm going to use that to show who I am and what I can do. So I was really pleased to hear that from him. On the biggest adjustment for him is learning the new scheme and having a new coach. That to him has been a part of the learning curve, and that's understandable. These players, like I mentioned, are coming from college into the pros, and it's different. You either adjust, you either get right, or you get left. So he said he's going to make sure that he gets right. And one other thing that he mentioned that really was pretty interesting, pretty neat to hear. He said he was asked, "How did you feel when you got the call?" And you were asked, "How would you feel about being a Baltimore Raven?" He said, "All disappointment that I had from not going earlier in the draft, it left me when I got that call." And he was laser focused from that moment on to being the best cornerback that he can be for the Baltimore Ravens. Love to hear it. There was also over the weekend, there was an interview that was released from Todd Monken. And Todd Monken interviewed, I guess, maybe before the draft or earlier in the offseason. And I heard it, I saw it on Twitter, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the entire interview. But one thing that he mentioned was how after the Titans game, John Harbaugh came to him and said, we've been relying a lot on Lamar, and we can't do that. We need to change. So I'm looking for change this year. I'm looking for change, but I'm also looking for change that is productive and fruitful for us. I don't want us to change and then that change cost us the game. I don't want us to change what we know is our formula for success. That's what I'm looking for. So while I'm not opposed to making adjustments and changing, I just want to make sure that whatever we do, whatever our strategy is this year, it's for the better. Good evening, Balti Raven. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I'm glad you're here and I hope you're well. Well, we've come to almost the end of the show, so I have a couple of questions for you in the chat. And if you are here and you're enjoying the content, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button. It really does help the channel. And if you are new, welcome. I hope you will consider subscribing and joining the family. Question that I have, and if you're watching on replay, please leave a comment down below. Please leave a comment in the what is it, the chat box, not the chat, but you know what I mean, down below where you watch it on replay. Leave a comment for me. Question that I have for everyone is, last week I asked you your thoughts on who do you think would make the 53-man roster. This week I want to take it a step further. Out of all of the rookies that we drafted, and I'm not really focused on the UDFAs because I haven't had an opportunity to really dive deep into studying them and learning about them, but and you can certainly leave that as your response if you'd like. But out of the players that we drafted, who do you think, out of all the rookies, who do you think has the most significant or has a chance to actually start day one? For me, I have two. I think two players really have a shot at being day one starters. Rosengarten and Wiggins. Those would be my two. So I want to hear from you and tell me who are, one or two players, or if you think more, however many players you think have a really a great chance, a good chance at being starters day one. The other players that we drafted, I think it might take a little bit of time. I think it might take some time. I don't think they're day one starters, but I could be wrong. And, we'll come back and we'll say, ooh, I was way off. I thought it was going to be Rosengarten and Wiggins. And actually, day one starters were this one and TJ Tampa and this other one. So let's see. Brandon says he thinks Rosengarten. Yeah, I think so too. Jay the Six, Rosengarten, Wiggins, and Tez. I'm here with Tez. I need to see a little bit more I need to hear a little bit more. But he certainly can be. I think he has the tools. He has the potential to do it. And Big Reg, let me put up Big Reg's comment real quick here. No, sir. No, no, sir. That's very kind of you, but no, thank you. The stream will wrap up and conclude quickly, not too long from now. But Big Reg says he honestly thinks just one, Rosengarten. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I think Wiggins has a chance, but Rosengarten for me, day one starter. That's what I'm thinking right now. So, um, Big Reg said, I think Wiggins will be a rotational piece because of Marlowe, Stevens, and Mollett. Yeah, but wonder if Wiggins happens to outperform or outshine Mollett. Then what? I think he has the tools to do it. Will he put it all together? Okay, time will tell. But I certainly think he has the tools to do it. Nana said she thinks day one starters Devontae, Rosengarten, and Wiggins. Same as Jay the Six. Yeah, I can see that. And Jay the Six, there ain't no way Mollett starts over Wiggins. That's what I'm thinking. I agree with you. I agree with you, Jay the Six. What if Wiggins outshines Mollett? Then you got to make some choices, right? You got to make some tough decisions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did Jay say he's going live? If so, Jay, when is that? Let everybody know in the chat. If you want to drop the link to your channel when you're going live, we certainly want to come by and show you some support. Good evening, Killer Camp. Salute to you. Thank you for joining. And Jay the Six says to me, Tez is higher in the pecking order than Bateman and can beat out Nelly. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I think that Tez has some work to do. I mean, all of them have work to do. Let's keep it 100. They're all rookies and they're brand new. But I would not be completely surprised or shocked if day one we saw Tez out there. I think he has a chance. But at any rate, thank you all so much for joining. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to continuing to talk all things Baltimore Ravens football as this offseason continues and into the preseason and into the regular season. And we are certainly, I'm speaking it now, making it into the postseason. That's certainly what I have our eyes set on, and I'm looking forward to a fabulous season this year. I'm not expecting anything less than that. Nana said, let Marlon as he does on a regular. Yeah, well, I mean, Marlon needs to really understand he's got some competition now. He does. So we'll either need to see him step up or we might have a different day one starter. But at any rate, I thank you all so much for joining tonight. I hope you all take care. You stay safe and always remember, never ever forget, go Ravens. God bless.